The massive council chamber gleamed under soft blue lights. Thousands of alien representatives sat in curved rows that stretched high into the shadows. Each seat held a different species, some with multiple eyes, others with scales or fur, a few even floating in special tanks. Ambassador Kim stepped forward, his hard outer shell shimmering with rainbow colors. He was small compared to many others, but when he spoke, his voice carried throughout the vast room. "Honored council members," Kim said, bowing slightly, "I bring important news from the Sol system in the outer spiral arm." The chamber quieted. Even the translator drones hovered silently. "Our scouts have been watching the third planet. The natives there, they call themselves humans, have recently sent primitive vessels beyond their atmosphere. They have even placed a small base on their moon." A few representatives nodded, unimpressed. Many species reached this stage of development. "But these humans are different," Kim continued, his voice growing more urgent. "They evolved on a planet we would classify as a death world. Their gravity is crushing. Their atmosphere contains corrosive oxygen. Their temperature range is extreme." He tapped a control panel, and a hologram appeared. It showed humans running long distances, lifting heavy objects, and surviving in harsh environments. They are persistence predators. In their early history, they would chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They can run for hours. They heal from injuries that would kill most species. They can survive radiation levels that should be fatal. The council stirred. A representative with 6 limbs and green skin spoke up. "Many species have impressive physical traits. Why does this concern us?" Kim nodded. "It is not just their bodies that make them dangerous. It is their minds. They are aggressive yet cooperative, violent yet compassionate. They fight constantly among themselves, but unite instantly against outside threats." He displayed images of human wars, followed by scenes of humans rescuing each other from disasters. Most concerning is their adaptability. When faced with problems, they create solutions at an alarming rate. They went from primitive flight to landing on their moon in less than 70 years. The hologram showed human technological development, speeding through centuries in moments. "Based on these findings, I propose an immediate quarantine protocol for Sol 3. Any civilization wishing to contact humans must first register with the Council and receive proper training." A rumble of conversation filled the chamber. Many council members looked worried. But across the room, a delegation of large, crab-like aliens clicked their claws dismissively. These were the Vorlak, famous for their military power. Their ships patrolled 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Their leader, Supreme Commander Park, rose from his seat. "The Centaurian Alliance always exaggerates threats," Park said, his voice harsh through the translator. "These humans sound like primitive animals. They have barely left their own planet." Ambassador Kim turned toward the Vorlak. "Commander Park, we have studied them carefully. They may be primitive by our standards, but they are dangerous in ways you cannot imagine." Park clicked his claws louder. "My empire has conquered 17 worlds. We have crushed species far more advanced than these humans. Your warnings are unnecessary." Kim displayed another image, a human standing alone against a line of tanks. "This is a single human defying overwhelming force. They value what they call freedom above even their own lives. If threatened, they will fight with everything they have." Commander Park made a dismissive gesture with his upper limbs. "All species resist conquest initially. All eventually submit." "The humans are different," Kim insisted. "They have a saying. It is better to die on your feet than live on your knees." They mean it. The council leader, a tall being with silvery skin, raised all 4 hands for silence. "We will vote on Ambassador Kim's proposal," the leader announced. The voting was quick. Most representatives agreed with the quarantine. A holographic counter showed the results. 879 in favor, 121 against. "The quarantine protocol is approved," the leader declared. All contact with Sol 3 must be registered and approved by the Council. Commander Park stood again. The Vorlak Empire officially registers its objection. These humans pose no threat to advanced civilizations. We will continue our planned resource survey of that sector. Ambassador Kim approached Park after the session ended. Commander, please reconsider. At least review our research before approaching Earth. Park towered over Kim. We need resources for our expansion. The Sol system is rich with minerals. If these humans resist, they will learn what happens to species that defy the Vorlak. That is exactly what concerns me, Kim said quietly. What happens when you threaten a species that never surrenders? Park laughed, a clicking sound that echoed in the emptying chamber. All species surrender when they face extinction. The humans might prefer extinction to submission, Kim warned, and they might take you with them. Park turned away without responding, joining his delegation as they left the chamber. In his private quarters later, Kim sent an urgent message to Earth's solar system. He ordered the observation post to double its monitoring efforts. He feared the Vorlak would ignore the Council's protocol. As he watched the stars through his viewport, Kim felt a strange sensation, something like dread. The humans had a word for it: foreboding. The Vorlak had conquered many worlds because they understood warfare, but they didn't understand humans. They hadn't spent years studying how humans turned disadvantages into strengths, how they thrived on challenges, how they united against external threats. They should have listened, Kim whispered to the distant stars, knowing that soon, very soon, the Vorlak would learn about humans the hard way. Commander Park stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Relentless Conquest. His 8 limbs were perfectly still as he watched the blue-green planet fill the viewing screen. Earth looked peaceful from orbit. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown landmasses. So small, so vulnerable. Beautiful, isn't it? Park said to no one in particular. His outer shell clicked softly as he moved closer to the screen. And rich with resources. Our scanners detect abundant metals, fresh water, and organic compounds. Science Officer Jin approached cautiously. Jin was younger than Park, his shell still bright with youth. Commander, I've been reviewing the preliminary data. This planet's defenses are primitive, but their adaptability rating is concerning. Park made a dismissive gesture with his upper claw. The Galactic Council always exaggerates. Remember the Trilaxians. The Council said they would be difficult to conquer. We subdued them in 3 days. Yes, Commander, Jin said, but the Council's data on the Trilaxians was accurate. They simply lacked the will to fight. The Council reports suggest humans have an unusual will to resist. Park turned from the screen to face his science officer. The bridge crew pretended not to listen. Jin, how many worlds has the Vorlak Empire conquered? 17 major worlds, Commander. And how many fleets have we lost? Jin hesitated. None, Commander. Precisely. Park's voice hardened. The Council fears strong empires like ours. They invent threats to slow our expansion. These humans have barely left their atmosphere. Their weapons are chemical explosives and primitive projectiles. He tapped a control panel. A holographic display showed Earth's cities, military bases, and resource deposits. Begin standard intimidation protocol, Park ordered. Position harvester ships over their largest population centers. Show them our power. Jin stepped forward. Commander, with respect, perhaps we should review the Council's briefing materials first. Even preliminary contact might. The Council coddles weak species, Park interrupted. His claws clicked rapidly, a sign of irritation. We need those resources for our expansion in the Orion sector. Deploy the ships. Yes, Commander, Jin said, turning to relay the orders. Within hours, 12 massive Vorlak harvester ships moved into position. Each was the size of a small city, dark against Earth's blue sky. They hovered over Earth's largest cities, places humans called New York, Tokyo, London, Beijing, Mumbai, and others. From his command chair, Park observed the human reactions through monitoring drones. Their primitive communication networks exploded with activity. Their military vehicles moved into position around the ships. Small aircraft circled cautiously. They seem organized, Jin noted. Their response is more coordinated than expected. Send the standard demands, Park ordered. Full planetary surrender and resource extraction rights. The message was translated and broadcast globally in all human languages. Attention inhabitants of Sol 3. You are now under the protection of the Vorlak Empire. Surrender all governmental authority and grant resource extraction rights immediately. Compliance will be rewarded with survival. Resistance will result in planetary cleansing. Park expected the usual response. Panic, fractured resistance, quick capitulation. Instead, something unexpected happened. The humans united. 3 days after the Vorlak arrival, Jin approached Park with disturbing news. Commander, we've lost contact with Reconnaissance Team 7. Park looked up from the resource maps he was studying. Equipment failure. No, Commander. They were attacked and overwhelmed. The humans captured some of our technology. Park dismissed this with a wave. Primitive creatures examining our tools. It means nothing. 5 days later, Jin returned. Commander, the humans have begun to reverse engineer our communication systems. They've breached our lower-level encryption. This got Park's attention. Impossible. They couldn't possibly understand our technology so quickly. The evidence suggests otherwise, Jin said, displaying intercepted human communications. They're sharing information globally, working together across national boundaries. Park watched the human news broadcast with growing irritation. Rather than fighting among themselves as expected, the humans had formed a unified planetary defense force. Ancient enemies now worked side by side. Scientists from countries that had been rivals for centuries shared information freely. Fascinating, Jin observed. They're adapting at unprecedented rates. Their learning curve is almost vertical. A human leader appeared on screen, addressing their global population. We will not surrender our planet. We stand together against this threat. Humanity has faced extinction before. We survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies. We will survive this. Park's claws clicked rapidly. Their resistance is futile. Deploy the ground forces. Commander, Jin said carefully, perhaps we should reconsider our approach. The Council's warnings. The Council knows nothing of conquest, Park snapped. 1 battalion of Vorlak warriors can subdue an entire city. Our warriors have never failed. Jin looked at the human broadcasts again. They showed people building defenses, converting factories to produce weapons, training civilians for combat. These humans don't fight like other species, Commander. They're turning their entire planet into a fortress. All the more reason to strike now, before their preparations advance further, Park said. Deploy all ground forces, standard conquest pattern. I want this planet secured within 1 standard rotation. As the orders went out, Park returned to the viewing screen. The blue planet still looked peaceful from orbit. Soon it would be just another conquered world in the growing Vorlak Empire. The Council's warnings echoed briefly in his mind, but he pushed them aside. Primitive creatures, he muttered. They'll break like all the others. He didn't notice Jin's expression, a look of deep concern as the first transport ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Colonel Lee pressed her back against the broken wall. The night air was cold on her skin. Her face was covered in dirt and dried blood. She hadn't slept properly in 3 days. Around her, 20 soldiers waited for her orders. They were just as tired, just as determined. Status report, she whispered into her radio. Alpha team in position, came the first response. Beta team ready, said another voice. Gamma team standing by. Lee checked her watch. The alien patrol would pass in exactly 2 minutes. They were always on time. The Vorlak never changed their patterns. That was their weakness. She looked at the captured battle plans spread on the ground before her. The aliens' writing had been decoded weeks ago. Their strategies were powerful but rigid. They expected enemies to behave in certain ways. They expected fear. They expected surrender. They'd never fought humans before, Lee told her troops. She kept her voice low. They expect us to break when they destroy our cities. They don't understand that it only makes us fight harder. The soldiers nodded. Many had lost homes, families. Yet here they were, still fighting. A low rumble shook the ground. Right on time, a Vorlak transport vehicle turned the corner. It hovered 3 feet above the ruined street, its metal shell gleaming in the moonlight. 4 Vorlak soldiers walked alongside it, their hard outer shells like armor, their multiple eyes scanning for threats. Lee raised her hand, waiting for the perfect moment. The aliens passed the first trigger point, then the second. She dropped her hand. The street erupted with sound. Hidden speakers blasted a high-frequency tone that made the Vorlak soldiers collapse, their limbs twitching. The transport vehicle swerved wildly, crashing into a building. Lee's troops moved with practiced speed, securing the aliens with special restraints and attaching a device to the vehicle's control panel. Transport captured, Lee reported. Operation Trojan proceeding as planned. 5 miles away, in an underground command center, General Song received Lee's message. The command center had once been a subway station. Now it was humanity's Western Regional Headquarters. Maps covered the walls. Officers moved between communication stations. The air was stale, but no one complained. Colonel Lee has secured the transport, Song announced. Phase 1 complete. A cheer went through the room. Small victories kept hope alive. Dr. Yoon approached the general. She had been a biologist before the invasion. Now she led the alien technology research team. The sonic weapons worked perfectly, she said, but the Vorlak are adapting. They've started using protective ear coverings. We need something new. General Song nodded. How's the progress on their communication systems? Good news there, Dr. Yoon said, her tired face brightening. We've fully decoded their basic commands, and we've repurposed their energy weapons to power our factories. Their technology is advanced but not creative. They never imagine using things in different ways. Across the planet, similar scenes played out. In flooded cities and burning forests, in frozen mountains and scorching deserts, humans fought back. They adapted. They overcame. In what was once Singapore, engineers converted Vorlak heating systems into powerful electrical generators. In the ruins of Cairo, doctors found that common earth minerals could neutralize Vorlak chemical weapons. In Brazil's rainforests, indigenous knowledge of sound-based communication helped develop better sonic weapons. Humanity shared every discovery instantly through a hidden communication network built from repurposed alien technology. When the Vorlak adapted to one tactic, humans changed to another. 6 months into what was supposed to be a quick conquest, Supreme Commander Park paced the bridge of his flagship. His outer shell had lost its shine. His movements were jerky with stress. How are they still fighting? He demanded, slamming his claw down on a display panel. Their cities are in ruins. Science Officer Jin reviewed the latest reports. Each day brought news of Vorlak defeats, captured equipment, failed strategies. The humans are using our own technology against us, Commander, Jin explained. They've converted our atmospheric processors into weather control systems. They're creating storms to disable our air support. Park clicked his claws angrily. Impossible. No primitive species could understand our technology so quickly. They learn collectively, Jin said. When one human discovers something, they all know it within hours. They adapt faster than we can respond. Another officer approached nervously. Commander, we've lost contact with the Eastern Seaboard Force, all 5,000 troops. Park's posture stiffened. Lost contact or lost the troops? Both, Commander. Their last transmission mentioned something called Operation Hornet's Nest. Then silence. Park turned to the viewing screen. Earth still hung there, blue and defiant. The planet that should have fallen in days had resisted for half a year. His perfect military record was ruined. The High Command was demanding explanations. "Send in the reserve battalions," Park ordered. "Full aggression protocols. Level their remaining cities." Jin stepped forward. "Commander, with respect, escalation has not been effective. Each time we destroy their infrastructure, they become more resourceful. They're using our attack patterns to set traps." "What would you suggest?" Park asked, his voice dangerous. Jin hesitated before speaking. "Commander, perhaps we should have listened to the Council. Their assessment of human adaptability and resilience was accurate. We might consider a strategic withdrawal to reassess our approach." "Retreat." Park hissed the word. "The Vorlak Empire does not retreat. The alternative may be worse," Jin said quietly. "Our supply lines are stretched. We've lost 30% of our ground forces. The humans are beginning to target our orbital platforms. They've adapted our own weapons to..." An alarm cut through his words. The bridge glowed red with warning lights. "Multiple launches detected from Earth's surface," an officer reported, voice rising. "They're using our own missile technology." Park watched in disbelief as human-modified Vorlak weapons rose from the planet's surface, targeting his fleet. Weapons that shouldn't exist in human hands. Weapons they couldn't possibly understand. Yet they did understand. They had learned. They had adapted. As the missiles approached, Park realized his terrible mistake. The Council had been right all along. The ship moved silently through space. Its design was strange, partly human, partly alien. The name Defiance was painted on its side in bold letters. Inside, 50 humans worked at stations that glowed with blue light. They wore modified Vorlak exoskeletons that made them stronger and protected them from the vacuum of space. Captain Min checked the radar screen. 3 Vorlak supply ships were approaching. They didn't know the Defiance was waiting. "Battle stations," Min ordered. "Remember your training. These ships are carrying weapons and food to the Vorlak forces near Jupiter. We can't let them pass." The crew moved quickly. 1 year of fighting had taught them well. The younger ones had never known adult life without war. The older ones couldn't remember what peace felt like anymore. "They're entering our range," said the weapons officer. Min nodded. "Fire warning shots. Give them a chance to surrender." Bright energy beams flashed from the Defiance. They passed close to the lead Vorlak ship, but didn't hit it. The alien ships immediately changed course, trying to escape. "They're running," someone said. "Not for long," Min replied. "Full speed ahead." The Defiance shot forward. It was smaller than the Vorlak ships, but faster, much faster. Human engineers had modified the alien engines in ways the Vorlak never imagined. The battle was short. The Defiance disabled the 3 supply ships without destroying them. Boarding teams in special spacesuits cut through the hulls and captured the crews. The Vorlak were always shocked to see humans in space. They still believed humans were primitive. "Cargo secured," reported the team leader. "We've got enough weapons and supplies to arm the Mars defense stations for 3 months." Min smiled. It was their 5th successful raid this month. Across the solar system, other human ships were doing the same thing. Slowly, steadily, humanity was pushing back. Back on Earth, Admiral Choi stood before the United Earth Defense Council. The room was deep underground, safe from Vorlak attacks. Men and women from every continent sat around a large table. On the walls, screens showed the status of battles across the solar system. "We've pushed them back to Mars orbit," Admiral Choi said, pointing to a holographic map. "Captain Min's raid today was another success. But our intelligence suggests the Vorlak are bringing reinforcements from their core worlds." The council members looked concerned. They had learned much about the Vorlak in the past year. The aliens controlled many star systems. Their resources seemed endless. "How many ships?" asked one council member. "At least 300, Choi replied. "Maybe more. They'll arrive in 2 months." The room grew quiet. Earth had only 70 ships, all built from captured Vorlak technology. They couldn't win a direct battle against 300 enemy vessels. "We need to take the fight to them," Choi continued. "Hit their homeworlds before the reinforcements arrive." "Impossible," said a counselor from Africa. "We can barely reach Mars. Their homeworlds are light years away." Dr. Han stood up. She was small and looked tired. She had been working 20 hours a day for months, studying alien technology. "Not impossible anymore," she said. "My team has completed reverse engineering their FTL communication system." She tapped a tablet, and a new image appeared on the main screen. It showed a complex machine with parts that glowed with strange energy. "This device can send messages instantly across any distance," Dr. Han explained. "The Vorlak use it to control their empire. We can use it to speak to the entire galaxy." The council members looked at each other. "What would we say?" someone asked. Admiral Choi stepped forward again. "We show them who we are. We show them what the Vorlak have done. And we make it clear that Earth is not alone anymore." 3 days later, the device was ready. In a special broadcasting room, a team of technicians made final adjustments. A woman named Sue sat before a camera. She had been chosen to speak for humanity because she had been a respected news presenter before the war. "The transmission will reach every advanced species in the galaxy," Dr. Han explained. "The Vorlak can't block it. Are you ready?" Sue nodded. "I'm ready." The camera turned on. Sue looked directly into it. "This message comes from Earth, third planet of the Sol system. 1 year ago, we were attacked by the Vorlak Empire without provocation. They demanded our surrender and our resources. The broadcast showed footage of the invasion. Cities burning, people fleeing, Vorlak ships filling the sky. We refused to surrender," Sue continued. "We fought back." New images appeared. Humans using captured technology, fighting in ruined cities, launching their first space vessels. "We did not start this war, but we will finish it. Any species that values peace is welcome to open diplomatic channels with Earth. Those who stand with the Vorlak will be considered enemies of humanity." The message ended with scenes of human resilience. Children being taught in underground schools, scientists working together, people from different countries helping each other. Far away, in the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Kim watched the human broadcast with the other representatives. The massive room was completely silent. No one spoke. No one moved. When the transmission ended, Kim stood up. "As we warned you," he said to the stunned assembly, "humans do not fight to conquer. They fight to survive. And they're extraordinarily good at it." A representative from a distant system spoke up. "How could they master Vorlak technology so quickly?" "It's impossible." "Nothing is impossible for humans when their survival is at stake," Kim replied. "They don't accept limitations. They don't know how to give up." Another representative, with 4 arms and silver skin, stood. "The Vorlak told us Earth was nearly conquered, that the humans were primitive savages." Kim shook his head. "The Vorlak underestimated them, as did many of you when you voted against the quarantine protocols." The council leader called for order. "We must decide how to respond to this human message. They have requested diplomatic contact." "We should help them," said one representative. "The Vorlak have grown too powerful." "We should stay neutral," argued another. "This is not our war." As the debate continued, Kim watched the replay of the human broadcast. He had studied humans for years, but even he was surprised by how quickly they had adapted. They had gone from primitive spacecraft to interplanetary warfare in just 1 year. What would they become in 10 years? In 100? The galaxy would never be the same. The great chamber of the Galactic Council was packed. Representatives from 500 worlds sat in rising tiers. The air buzzed with whispers and clicks and electronic translations. At the center stood Supreme Commander Park of the Vorlak. How different he looked now. His shell was dull and cracked. His proud posture was gone. His claws were bound with glowing restraints. He had once commanded the most feared fleet in 3 spiral arms. Now he stood as a prisoner. Above him, the 7 council elders looked down from their high bench. The oldest spoke, her voice amplified throughout the chamber. Supreme Commander Park, you stand accused of grave crimes. The Vorlak Empire attacked Earth without proper authorization. You violated council directives on first contact protocols. You ignored explicit warnings about human capabilities. The elder gestured to a large screen. It showed burning cities, Vorlak ships falling from the sky, human soldiers in modified alien armor pushing forward. The result of your actions: the Vorlak Empire has lost 11 colony worlds to human forces. Thousands of your people are dead or captured. The balance of power in the galaxy has shifted. Park raised his head. We could not have known, he protested weakly. They were primitive. They had barely reached their moon. Ambassador Kim stepped forward from his place among the council representatives. His shell gleamed under the lights. You were told, Kim said, his voice hard. I warned you personally. The council provided detailed reports on human adaptability and resilience. You chose not to listen. Park's claws clicked together in agitation. They should have surrendered like all the others. No species has ever. Humans are not like other species. Kim interrupted. That was the point of our warning. The chamber doors opened. A hush fell over the assembly. A human woman entered, walking with perfect confidence despite being surrounded by aliens. She wore a simple blue uniform with a small Earth symbol on the shoulder. Her dark hair was pulled back, and her eyes missed nothing. This was Ambassador Kang, the first human representative to the Galactic Council. Many in the chamber had never seen a human in person before. They stared openly at her small size, her soft skin, her strange 2-armed body. Kang took her place at the speaking platform. When she spoke, her voice was calm but carried an underlying steel that made several council members shift uncomfortably. 3 years ago, the Vorlak Empire came to Earth demanding our surrender. We knew nothing of alien life, nothing of the Galactic Council, nothing of interstellar politics. We knew only that our home was threatened, and we would defend it. The screen showed new images, humans working together, adapting alien technology, building ships, fighting back. We did not ask for this war, Kang continued. But once it began, we committed ourselves fully to victory. The cost has been terrible. Millions dead, cities destroyed. Yet Earth stands free. She looked directly at Park. The Vorlak commander seemed to shrink under her gaze. Humanity does not seek revenge or empire. We seek safety and knowledge. The council warned you about us, and you ignored it. Now we offer our own warning. Earth is open to peaceful contact and trade with all species who approach with respect. We will defend ourselves against any who come with conquest in mind. The chamber was completely silent when she finished. Even the translation devices seemed hushed. The elder spoke again. The decision of this tribunal is unanimous. The Vorlak Empire must withdraw from all claimed territories in the Sol system. You must pay reparations to Earth for damages caused. And you, Supreme Commander Park, are removed from your position permanently. Park's head dropped in defeat. Guards led him away as whispers spread through the chamber. The mighty Vorlak Empire, humbled by a species that 3 years ago didn't know aliens existed. After the tribunal, Ambassador Kim approached Kang in a quiet hallway. You spoke well, he said. Many on the council were impressed. Kang smiled slightly. Thank you for your warning, Ambassador, even if it wasn't heeded. If more of the council had listened to you, perhaps this war could have been avoided. What will humanity do now? Kim asked. Your technology has advanced centuries in just 3 years. Many species fear what you might become. They need not fear if they come in peace, Kang replied. We have much to learn about the galaxy, and much to offer. 2 weeks later, in Earth orbit, the United Earth exploratory vessel Resilience prepared for its maiden voyage. It was beautiful, sleek and silver against the blackness of space. Its hull combined human aesthetic sensibilities with advanced alien technology. In the ship's main conference room, Captain Yu addressed his crew. They represented every continent of Earth: scientists, diplomats, engineers, and yes, soldiers. Through viewports, they could see their blue homeworld below. "Our mission is peaceful contact with the stars," Yu said. "We go not as conquerors, but as explorers, not seeking dominance, but understanding." He paused, looking at each crew member. "But we go prepared. The galaxy has learned that humans cannot be conquered easily. Let us now teach them that humans make even better friends than enemies." On the bridge, First Officer Moon checked the final launch preparations. The star charts were ready. The course was set for Proxima Centauri, their first stop on a long journey. "All systems ready, Captain," she reported when you arrived. "The Council has granted us navigation rights through all major space lanes." Yu nodded. "Send the message to Earth Command. Resilience is launching." The great ship moved away from Earth, gathering speed. Its engines glowed bright blue against the darkness. Across the galaxy, 1,000 worlds watched through monitoring stations, some with fear, some with hope, all with respect. Humanity had survived its first interstellar war. Now it was taking its place among the stars, and the stars would never be the same again.